market segmentation? Market segmentation is splitting up the market. Market segmentation means splitting up the market into different types or segments basically to enable a business to better target its products to the relevant customers. So this is what is market segmentation. It is basically splitting up of the market into different segments where you can better give your services to the targeted audience. Audience in the sense your relevant customers. Okay, so the first one, identify basis for segmenting the market. Second one, develop profiles of resulting segments. Third point, or the third step, fourth one, select the target segments. And the fifth one, ensure that segments are compatible. So moving on to the first one, that is identify basis for segmenting the market. So what are the main basis of segmentations? So here you might have studied already, that is geographic, demographic, behavioral and psychographic. These are the major segmentation types. Okay. Under geographic, what you are doing, you are dividing the customers or you are making segments in terms of geographic or geographically. So it can be a region, it can be a country, it can be a state, it can be a small area. So it can be anything. Okay, based on geography. So next one, dividing or segmenting the market in terms of age, gender, occupation, socio-economic group, or the income of the person. So all are coming under demographic segmentation. Next, moving to behavioral segmentation. Here, based on the behavior of the customer, basically. So here we are having behavior in the sense rate of usage. If he is using more or less, benefits sought like loyalty status, readiness to purchase. So these all are the behavioral aspects of the customer. So based on that, you are dividing. And the last one is psychographic. So here, based on the personality of the customer, lifestyle, attitude, and the class of the customer. So based on these, so these things are called as psychographic characteristics. So based on the psychographic characteristics, you are segmenting them. Okay. So first one is geographic, demographic, behavioral, and psychographic. So just a small brief on those. Geographic segmentation, dividing the market to form different geographic units such as nations, countries, states, etc. So it can be further made into streets or small areas. So it is etc. So next, demographic segmentation, dividing the market to form different segments on the basis of age, gender, occupation, and so on. Behavioral segmentation, dividing buyers to form groups based on their knowledge, attitude, uses, or responses to a service. So responses is behavior, how you are basically responding or how you are behaving to a certain thing. So based on your knowledge, you are behaving differently. Based on your attitude, you are behaving differently. Based on the use of the service or whatever service you are getting, based on that you are reacting. So these all are things coming under the behavioral segmentation. So yeah, you can segment in terms of behavior also. And the last one is psychographic, dividing buyers to form groups based on social class, lifestyle, or personality characteristics. So these all comes under psychographic segmentation. Moving to the next thing. So some of the requirements for effective segmentation. So what all to be there? So first one is measurability. What is measurability? The degree to which the size and purchasing power of the segments can be measured. So if you are not sure, like what is the size of the market and what is the buying power or purchasing power of that particular segment, if you are segmenting, if you are not segmenting based on the measurability, what happens? So you have already segmented it and you have already targeted that particular segment. So, but if you are not sure about the size, how big is that segment? If it is very small and your preparations are in a larger scale, then it will be a loss to you. So, if the size of the market is very big and you are not prepared for that particular size of the market, then also you will be in loss. What kind of loss? It is like you cannot sell. The demand will be more, but the supply will be less. So based on that, you will be again in loss. So measurability is very important. So what is measurability? So what you are doing here, you are finding out the size as well as the purchasing power of the segments. So purchasing power in the sense you are having a product and you have already segmented and targeted a particular segment. But if that particular segment is not having the power to purchase whatever you are providing them, it might be a product or a service, whatever it is. If they are not in a position to buy, then your segmentation is wrong again. So you are failing. So there are very few people or no people at all who will be buying your product or the service. So that is measurability. Next is accessibility, the degree to which these segments can be reached and served. So you have already segmented, but you are not able to reach them. You are not able to communicate with them. Then again, it is a waste of your efforts. So again, you have to see whether you are capable enough or you are able to reach them with whatever news or whatever information that you want to provide that particular segment. Okay, if that is possible, then it is well and good. Otherwise, again, you will incur losses. Third one, sustainability, the degree to which the segments are large or profitable enough. So sustainability, okay, every time why we compare ourselves with the previous year's performance, because whether we are moving upward, downward, whether we are sustaining in the market, what is the problem to find out that. So now presently, if that particular segment looks very attractive, you are going there, but whether in that particular segment you can sustain or not for a longer period of time. So for time being, you are getting profits, you are managing everything well and good. So if you are not sustaining for a longer run, what happens is you may incur losses later, and at the end you have to stop your service or production or catering that particular segment. So sustainability is also very important. So very big companies who are into the market for very long time, like 50 years, 80 years, 100 years, 150 years, and so. So that is sustainability. So you will grow slowly with sustainable progress. So sustainability is very, very much important. Next is actionability, the degree to which effective programs can be designed for attracting and servicing of the segments. So whether can you provide them with any effective program so that people can know your service or know your product, understand it, then they can have it or they can purchase your product or the service. So here actionability is also very important, where you can just reaching is not important. Reaching is fine. You can reach in various ways, but are they able to be like what you call? If you are taking any actions, will they be a part of it? Can they be a part of it? So that is also very important. So how effectively you can design a program for them so that it is very attractive and they are attracted towards your service or the product. So these are the four things where you have to make sure while making the segments. Okay. So or effective segmentation possible if these four things are taken care of. Next, criteria for evaluation of market segments for market targeting. So again, similar to the previous one. So how to evaluate whether the market segments that you are targeting or not? What will be the criteria, or what are some of the criteria? Basically, not these only. So there are other criteria also based on your product and service. These are the in general criteria. So first is segment size and growth. So you have to take the previous data. So, okay, what was the size like 5 years back and what it is now? So at what rate that particular segment is growing? Okay, so India, they say, okay, labor is there and India is having like people with age below 30. So around 75%, they say 60 to 75%. So at what rate it is growing or what rate it is declining? So if the people want to come here and start their business based on the labor available, okay. So if they want to do that, they have to see for a longer run also. So after 10 years, what will happen? So I need time to set up my industry here or my factory here, and to communicate to the people and for them to get used to this particular company and the product, they need time. It may go up to 4 5 years or even 7 8 years also. So after that, will you be able to sustain? Will you be having that particular growth what you have seen? Will the size of the particular segment increase or decrease with time? So even that is very important. So here it includes information on current sales, whether the sales are increasing or decreasing, projected growth rates, So they say like year on year we are growing at the rate of 2%, 5%, 8%, 20%. At times if it is a very high jump, so it can be 100%, 150% also. So that thing you need to take into consideration here. Growth rates and expected profit margins. So if you are a beginner, you need to have a different pricing strategy. So what you will be doing? You'll be having a penetrating strategy where you are attracting more customers. So as and when time goes on, you cannot use the same strategy. So you need more profits also. At the time of penetration, you will be having less profits. You are looking for more customers. So later on, as and when you are moving up, so your profits also will increase. So that is what, whether is there any expected profit growth rate in the margins or no? So even that has to be taken care of. Next is segment structural attractiveness. This includes the current and potential competitors, substitute products and services, relative power of buyers and relative powers of suppliers. So basically, a major part of your Porter's five force model we are looking into here. So who are the current and the potential competitors? So is the market saturated, or is there any scope for new entrants, potential competitors, substitute products as well as services, and the buying power or the relative power of buyers and the relative powers of suppliers? Very important again. So these things you have to take into consideration. So if it is a saturated market, if you enter, so you will incur loss because there are already big players who are providing the services or the product at a very cheaper rate which you cannot afford. So if you are entering into that kind of market, surely you will have a issue in the sustainability as well as your profits will be very, very less. So that thing you have to take into consideration. Or you are a first mover into that particular category. So first mover is the person who is the bringing that particular product or services first into the market, and he will be having an first mover's advantage because there is no competitor for him. If any person wants to have that particular service or a product, he has to buy your product only because there is no other product in the market. So as time goes on, and if it is a very attractive segment, there will be competitors who will be coming and who will be having their products or services into the market. So until then, you are the sole person. So it is you are the one who is has brought that particular product or service into the market. So that is called as a first mover advantage, and your name will be there. So if people think of that particular product or service, your name will be there because you are the first person, and there was no competitor. So whenever that particular customer wanted that particular service, he has to come to you, and your name has to be there. So that is how the older, bigger companies have their uh, market. So basically, when there were no many competitors, they had come and into a very big level. So each and every person knew only that. So for example, water, if you needed bottled water, what people say, we need Bisleri. But there are a lot of other brands into the market. But what many people say, give me a bottle of Bisleri. So Bisleri has taken the name of water there. So whatever bottle he might be having Aquafina, or he might be having Railneer or whatever. But people are asking him, do you have Bisleri? So for toothpaste, Colgate. For noodles, it is Maggie. So people go and ask for Maggie and not for noodles most of the times. Now people are getting new brands, and but still, if they want FA also, they'll ask for Maggie and not this Maggie. Give me that Maggie. So that noodles has taken the place of Maggie has taken the place of noodles in the minds of the people. So those are the first movers advantage. Some of the first movers advantage that a person or a company will enjoy based on the first moving advantage. Okay. Next comes the company objectives and resources. So this involves whether the segment fits the company's objective or not. So what is your objective? Your objective might be sustainable growth. Your objective can be widening the market. Your objective can be growing at a very faster rate. Will that particular segment help you in achieving those particular objectives that you have set for the company? So that has to be very much important. So if you are looking into very high growth or a very fast growth, and if your market size or the segment size that you're choosing is very small and very scattered, that will not help you anywhere. So you have to see where the growth of that particular segment is very vast, as well as the competitors are less. So that kind of segment, if you are moving into, then your growth will be faster. So if you are having the objective of faster growth, you have to choose that kind of characteristic or segment. Okay. Next, moving to benefits of market segmentation to a business. So what are the benefits of segmenting the market? So better matching of customer needs. So each and every customer or each and every segment has a different kind of need. So you cannot have the same product most of the times. Basically, you cannot have the same product for all the segments. So only we are having different variants into the market. Okay, different variants, different sizes, different weights of a product or a service. Okay, different duration in kinds of service with different duration and the uh, additional facilities given by the company. So each and every segment has a different need or a different expectation. So you can better match if you are segmenting the market, you can have a better matching of customer needs and your delivery can be better in terms of whatever they need. Okay. So customer needs differ. Creating separate products for each segment makes sense. Okay, next, enhance profits for business. Customers having different disposable incomes and vary in how sensitive they are to the price. So, if the people are there in a segment where their income is very less and they cannot afford to not sell, to sell out more, shell out more money in buying your product or the service. If you are into that particular segment, choosing that segment, and if your product is of a higher price, then your sales will be very less or to nothing. So you have to again cater a particular segment where they are able to purchase your product or the service. So purchasing power has to be there. So next, moving to better opportunities for growth, because you already know the segment, it is small and you are not covering the whole market. So you are having better opportunities for growth. You can get them new and more sophisticated services so that they enjoy it well and your growth will be on an exponential way. Next, retain more customers. As you are not running around the whole market, you know your customer size, what segment you are targeting, so you can retain more customers based on what they are looking into, for what they are coming to you to avail that particular service. So you can improve the service quality as well and retain more customers. Target marketing communication. This is very much important. Okay, because there are hell a lot of different kinds of communications which we'll be studying later in your course. But so to target them, whether you have to go for a national news, a regional news, or an international news. So it can be a television media, or it can be a print media, or it can be uh, like FM, AM, those kind of things. So FM, AM, it will be generally for a certain area. So, but if you're going for a regional newspaper, it goes to a certain region only. So your price of that particular advertisement goes down, or you are shelling out less money when compared to moving nationally or internationally. If your customer, you already know your customer segment is there in that particular area, you can only target that particular area for communication as well. Otherwise, it is a waste of communication what you are doing. You are giving out more amount as well as that particular segment is not interested in your product. So you are having a losses on both ends. People will not come to buy as well as you are selling out more amount for the communication or providing the communication. So as you are segmenting it, you can target the those customers only or those prospect customers only where you can tell them what you are doing, why you are doing, and how you are doing, or how you are better than your competitors. So those kind of communications are also very, very much important. Or if you're coming up with new offers, so if people doesn't know what kind of offer do you have, then they will not come to you. That's why you are now you can see recently Amazon and Big Bazaar, not Big Bazaar, Amazon, Flipkart, and all other those online marketing sites, they're coming up with more and more offers, and you are getting more and more advertisements based on whatever you are buying. Okay, so there is no need for the other people who are not into the digital marketing field to come into or to know more about this. If they are interested people, then it should go to them only. So you are getting ads on your YouTube, if you're looking into any videos, so you are getting a ad that okay, Flipkart or Amazon is coming up with these particular offers. That is, some days they call this big days or big billion days or whatever. Just for an example. So that should reach to that particular customer only. There should not be any waste coverage. Okay. Next, gain share of the market segment. What we do here, gain share of market segment. Here, thorough, careful segmentation and targeting business can often achieve competitive production and marketing costs and become the preferred choice of customers and distributors. So as you are focusing on a small part of the market and you are providing them with better services, so there is a high chance of you gaining market share than your competitors. So if you have chosen a perfect segment for your company or for your service, so that will help you gain a hell a lot of market share greater than your competitors. Okay, so these are the benefits of segmenting the market to a business. So moving on to the next one. So the second point, the first one was have the criteria for segmentation. So and the second point is develop profiles of resulting segments. So what do we have to do here? So how to develop profiles? Once the segments have been identified, you have already segmented. It is critical to develop profiles of the consumer in the markets. So what do you mean by this? Profile in the sense you should know your customer. So know your customers in the sense what he is liking, what he needs, what he is expecting. So all these things also come there. So what kind of preferences do your target customer have or your prospect customer have? So you have to profile, okay, the segment. Then develop profiles of the consumer in the markets. Then these profiles usually involve demographic characteristics, also psychographic, and the usage of the segments of your product or the service. So this will help a lot. Okay, so first divide the market, then try to find out who your customers are, what they want, and what is the usage, what kind of psychography or what kind of behavior they have. So all these things you should know about that particular segment. Next, moving on to the other one. Of most importance in this stage is clearly understanding how and whether the segments differ from each other in terms of their profiles. Now I have already segmented. So why we need profiling is how different the other segments are than whatever segment you are choosing. So by doing that, you can better serve that particular segment or why you are choosing that particular segment only. So you'll get to know. Okay, or do we have to change or can we include any other segments also? There is no hard and fast rule that after segmenting you have to target only one segment. It is based on you and your product range or your service range. You can target many customers or many segments basically. So for example, in mobiles, if I tell you Oppo, Vivo, then OnePlus, these all are of the same company, but they are manufacturing the same product also, that is mobiles, but they are catering into different segments. Oppo, Vivo, the lower or the mid class segments, and OnePlus, they are into bit higher segments because the prices are a bit higher than Oppo and Vivo, the prices of OnePlus mobiles. So if you are having the same product, but still you can have a different segment or one segment only. So based on your product and your product range, you can choose only one segment or multiple segments from the market what you have made the segments of. Next, develop measures of segment attractiveness. Now what you have done, so in the process you can see first we segmented the market, then we knew about who are the people in that particular segment, what they want, we are knowing the customers basically. Next, develop measures of segment attractiveness. So how to attract those people? Segment must be evaluated in terms of their attractiveness. So what is that? So how you will be attracting the customers or how you have been attracted to that particular segment. So the size and purchasing power of the elements must be measurable so that the company can determine if the segments are worth the investment in marketing and relationship costs associated with the group. So everything, whatever you do, has some cost, right? So first you have to find out whether the purchasing power is there and how big this particular size of your market segment is there. Why? Because you are putting money into marketing as well as you are putting money into building the relationships with the customer or your prospect customer. So whether that money can be earned back or no, or it is a waste. So if the segment is not really interested in your product, but still you are marketing as well as trying to build relationship and you are putting out or shelling out money, which you cannot bring back because the customer or your segment is only not very much into your products or your services. Okay, next, the chosen segments also must be accessible, meaning that advertising or marketing vehicles must exist to allow the company to reach the customers in the segments. So if you are choosing a particular segment, and you should know how to reach them or whether it is viable for you to reach them in a particular way, whether it is cheap for you to reach them. So all these things should be very much taken care of. Okay. Next, select the target segments. So after doing this, we are selecting. After finding out, first we are segmenting it. Second, trying to find out who our customers are and what they need. Third one, whether how big is the market, we are finding out. Then what is the purchasing capacity? Can we sustain in the market by having a relationship as well as communicating cost we need to have. Then select the target segment. Then the service firm must decide if the segment is large enough and trending towards growth. Market size will be estimated and demand forecasts completed to determine whether the segment provided has a strong potential or not. So now you are looking into the growth prospects as well as the size and the can you meet the forecast what you have made by selecting that particular target segment. Next, competitive analysis, including the evaluation of current and potential competitive people. So whether if there are many competitors, also potential substitute products and services, as well as the power of the buyer as well as the seller. So whatever we saw the characteristics, again they are coming here. So what we have to do, we have to find out the size, the market growth forecast, and whether you will be sustaining in the market, as well as the buying power of the customers, the relative power of the suppliers, the relative power of the competitors, as well as the substitute products into the market segment. Compatible. As I told you, you can choose only one segment or multiple segments. So you should make sure that if you are providing the same product to different segments, those particular segments should be compatible. The customers, the services marketer must be certain that the customers are compatible with each other. So if you are having a different segment, like if you are targeting a middle class and a very high class segment, there might be some issues with them. Why that particular segment is made? Because the middle class people have a particular capacity of shelling out money, and the top level has a particular capacity of selling out money. So they should not feel that they are not belonging to a particular place or a particular service. So you should make sure that whatever segments you are targeting, they should be compatible with each other. Okay, so this is one of the example that I give. Different processes. So what are they? We'll go back. We'll just see. So what we saw, steps in market segmentation and targeting of the services. So what are those? First one, identify basis for segmenting the market, then develop profiles of resulting segments, develop measures of segment attractiveness, select the target segments and ensure the segments are compatible with each other. That's all. These are some points where you need to very much take into consideration before segmenting and targeting. Okay, next moving to service recovery strategies. So what are these? So go wrong into a service delivery, what you have to do, how to get back the customers. That is what is called as recovery strategy. So first one, make the service fail safe. So what do you mean by fail safe? Do it right the first time. So if you want the customer to come back again to you, so you have to give the service, proper service, not only service, give the proper service correctly at the first time only. So this is the first thing. If you are doing it right, there are no need for you to go to other strategies. So what is the first one? Make the service fail safe. That means you should not have any uh, places where you can go wrong. So identify those and have those having any gaps, so that there are chances of you failing into the service delivery. So that's what it is said as do it right the first time only. So next, encourage and track complaints. So if the people are complaining, you should not say, okay, don't do that, don't do this. So you should encourage them to have more complaints, if any. So you should not avoid complaints. Why? Because these complaints only will help you grow into your market, okay, or into your service delivery. If people are finding any difficulty, if you are trying to solve them, you are a better service provider than a competitor. So encourage and track complaints. Why this is happening? Track that also. Along with the complaints, if they have any, if they face in their service delivery process of your company. So next, act quickly. Just don't encourage, collect and keep. So that will not help you anywhere. So after collecting the complaints, act quickly on the complaints, what you have got, why that has happened, and what are the measures to be taken so that you should not repeat it again. So that is act quickly, fast. So as and when the complaints are there, if it is solved in a minimum time available to the customer, then you are increasing the customer satisfaction. So he thinks, okay, if I have any issue in my service, if I or like whatever, and it will be solved very quickly. So that will help you in growing your customers as well. The next, provide adequate explanations. So this is very much important. If you are really trying to bring the customer back, you should explain the customer why this has happened, and that to be adequate explanation. Just don't say them anything what your mind says. So first find out what was the problem, then fix it. Then you tell the customer why that particular uh, problem happened. Okay, they know or they owe you an explanation because they are paying for your services, whatever you have priced it without any discussions went wrong. That too after you fix that particular problem. Okay, next, treat customers fairly. So what do you mean by this? So if a particular person is complaining, you should not treat him differently than others. So you should treat all customers and all the complaints properly in a fair manner. It should not that the first person has come is having a bigger problem, so I'll only look into that. Or it might so happen that okay, a person is coming with a complaint which is very small or minuscule. So you don't give any uh, if you are not seeing that as a potential complaint, then that will be an issue. So you have to have each and every complaint customers fairly in that particular way. Next, cultivate relationship with customers. So why this is very important? If you are having any issues in the service delivery also, so he may not feel very dissatisfied because he is having a good relationship with you. He can come and tell you, and you can uh, make up for that issue whatever has happened in the service delivery. Okay, so you need to have a very good relationship with your customers. Then learn from recovery experiences. This is very very much important. So you have already faced very much a situation basically, and you should not repeat it. You should make sure that you should not repeat it. Why? Because again, if the same problems persist with the same customer, make sure that same issue should not happen once again. It might be the same customer or it might be a different customer. So you have to learn and you have to make fail safes. If any thing is failed into your service delivery, then a fail safe should be there, as well as you should learn from that particular instance of what to be done and what not to be done. Okay, that is very, very much important. And the last one, learn from lost customers. So what do you mean by this lost customers? The people have already moved to a different competitor of yours to avail the same service that you are providing. So those are lost customers. So try to get back them. So learn from those particular customers. Why did they leave? What are the weaknesses in your service delivery? So if you find this and try not to again do the same mistakes. So learn from the recovery experiences in the sense you have already done this particular recovery thing and you are got back the customer. But there are some customers who won't come back to you. So those are called as lost customers. But still, you have to learn from the problems, whatever they have faced or you have faced in delivering the proper service to them. So this is very, very much important. So what are some of the service recovery strategies? Do it right the first thing. That is, have a fail safe basically. Then encourage and track complaints. Act quickly on whatever complaints that you have received. Provide adequate explanations for whatever complaints they had. Okay, why it happened. Then treat customers fairly. Each and every person is your customer only if he is availing your service. So each and every person has to be treated fairly, as well as each and every complaint has to be treated fairly. Next is cultivate relationship with customers. That means if you are having a good relationship with your customers, it is uh, not mandatory, but it makes the customer come back to you basically. So have a good relationship with your customer. Then learn from recovery experiences. So whatever failed uh, services that you have provided, those things should not happen again with your customers, and learn from lost customers. Lost customers are the people who have left you and are availing the services of your competitors. So even those people are the good source of getting why they are moving out or what was the issue that made them move out from your service to your competitive service. So it is very, very much important as well. So as you already know, getting new customer is much more costlier than retaining the customer. So have more efforts in retaining the customers than trying to get new customers. Even new customers are very, very much important, but you will save too much of money in retaining the customers than in getting new customers. So this is the end of your module 2. So just a small recap, whatever we have studied in our module 2. Okay, so first one, what we saw was the service gap model. So this particular in module 2, we just saw the listening gap, which is between the expected service and the company's perceptions of consumer expectations. So we saw the key reasons for gap 1, then using marketing research to understand customer expectations. How to use market research, that we saw. Then what could be your research objectives for services? If you are going for research, then we saw criteria for effective service research program. So what all the criteria there should be for a particular research program to be very effective in terms of service that you are looking into. Then stages of research process. So what are different stages? Define the problem, develop measurement strategy, implement research program, collect and tabulate data, interpret and analyze findings, and report the findings to the person who has asked you for. Then relationship marketing. What is relationship marketing? We saw. Then the evolution of customer relationship. So what are the different things? So the first one, customers as strangers, customers as acquaintances, customers as friends, and customers as partners. These are the 4 different ways. Then next is, what is the goal of relationship marketing? So first, acquiring, satisfying, retaining, and enhancing the service delivery. By this, your goal should be for retaining the customers. That is, acquiring. First, you have to acquire the customer. Then you have to make him satisfied, then you have to make him come back to you, then you have to enhance his service expectation, or whatever he has whatever he has thought, you have to exceed that particular thought, okay, of your service. So you are enhancing your service delivery. Next, benefits of customer relationship. First, benefits for the customers we saw, that is confidence benefits, social benefits, as well as special treatment benefits. Then benefits for the firms, economic benefits, customer behavior benefits, human resource management benefits to the firms. And different levels of relationship strategies, financial bonds, that is level 1, level 2 social bonds, level 3 customization bonds, and level 4 structural bonds. And this, from this particular slide, we are moving with the present today's class, that is steps in market segmentation and targeting for services. Then what were the different bases for segmentation? Then what are the requirements of effective segmentation? And what are the criteria for evaluation of the market segments before targeting the market? Then what are the benefits of segmentation to a business? Then develop different resulting segments, that is next the different processes what we are saying. Then develop measures of segment attractiveness, select the target segments, ensure that the target segments are compatible, then different service recovery strategies. So we have just seen a small recap of module 2. So this ends our module 2, and from the next class we'll start with the module 3. Okay, we'll end the class now. Thank you very much, students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.